This is an oblique cable shift. This drill is focused on untwisting the leg that's closest to the cable. And when I say untwisting, I mean if you have a leg, a knee, and a foot that doesn't like to stay in a straight line, sometimes you'll notice that the knee falls in like this. We have a laxity in the glutes here. Maybe you have a hip hike on that side. This is really working to connect the hip, the knee, and the foot in a way that supports your muscle connection of your foot to your hip, improves mobility, but also your strength training. So when we're setting up for this is a very subtle drill. You do not need to go super heavy. You want the cable to be about hip height right here, and it's going to be an opposite arm, opposite leg focus, and you're going to be in about an oblique angle. So let's set that up really quick. You're going to start with your feet facing the line of the cable. Since the cable's in my left hand, I'm going to be working my right leg here, and I'm just going to swing the door open and get comfortably open about a 45-degree angle away from the cable here. And I'm not going to be so heavy or lax in my core that the cable's pulling me in this twisted motion. So I'm stacked, I'm lined up right here, and I'm going to start by setting up the leg that's in line with the cable. Okay, now it's really important that you do this in a very focused way to get the right muscles to turn on and make sure you're stacked. So what that's going to look like if you're setting up and you're very relaxed is you might end up with a knee folded in position right here. Okay, what we want to do is we want to almost overcorrect this by getting really heavy on the outside of the heel. And if you'll notice that this knee kind of turns out like this, and when you do that, you get really heavy on that side of your foot, your outer hip is going to turn on. Once you feel that muscle tension right there, you're going to flatten your foot, and you're really going to feel that foot through the knee hip connection right here. And you'll notice that my hip, my knee, and my foot are in a straight line. So that's what I want to make sure I get when I set this up. So feet together, open up here. I'm heavy in my heels with soft knees, and I'm going to make sure that I feel heavy in my heel. I rotate to the outside. I feel the outer glute and the abductors turn on. I flatten my foot right there, and I'm really, really glued to those foot contacts. So from this position, from about 45 degrees away, I'm going to start the shift action of this movement, okay? I'm going to stay heavy in this heel. I'm going to push myself away from this right foot as much as I can and really feel those glutes and that right hip working, okay? And then I'm going to slowly sink and shift into that heel and then push myself away and row at the same time. The row is just going to pull your body into the heel. So your goal is the right leg and the right hip. You're trying to stay heavy in that right heel, and you're shifting, push through the heel, and row. The row is secondary. The row is not to work your lat or anything. You just want to stay nice and stacked with parallel ribs and hips. Stay heavy in this heel, push away. So the main idea of the movement is through the leg. The secondary movement is the row that's emphasizing the pressure in the right hip. So you want to start your motion here going back by sinking into that heel as you shift over, and then release the row. And then I want to start the other direction by pushing through the heel and rowing. That's going to continue that twisting motion. And if you get it right, it will cook this back leg. Nice and slow position right here. As you're doing this motion, you want to make sure that your knee does not go too far over your toe, because you're going to shift your body weight to the ball of your foot and you're going to lose heel contact, which is the number one thing we're focused on here. So stay at about a vertical shin angle to a negative shin angle, and think about hip, knee, and foot being in a straight line the whole time. You got to go light and slow for that to happen. But once it does, it will absolutely cook that hip. It will untwist this leg. It'll take pressure off of your knees and put it back on the leg as a whole, but also your glutes when you're doing single leg training. That's how an oblique cable shift is done. Very nice, I like.